But yeah, that's where I've been at. And then honestly, like it's been rough to want to get on GTA recently because we had to sort out a bunch of stuff because behind the scenes it's just like let me just be honest, like the cop shit's a mess. Like I'm not even gonna lie, like that shit's a mess. And I really need to have some like conversations with people because like honestly, let me just say it how it is. Like we had a vision when we set out to do PD, and then since then we've had too many fucking let's be honest, let's say what it is. There's too many cooks in the kitchen. There has been since day one. There's too many cooks in the kitchen, man. Like it really is. And everyone had a trying to divert to different visions. Like we had a bunch of people aligned before launch, and then we got into it, and then everyone was off on like different paths and stuff. And it's just put everything into like perpetual shit. And then basically every time I come in and try to fix it, like everyone's like, "Oh my god, like what's happening? What's he doing? What's oh my god." And it's like after that point, like people are just shell shocked that someone's coming in to try to do something, and we get paralyzed. We can't do anything because people are like getting into their feelings and stuff like that over changes getting made in PD. And like that's the complete opposite of like how we envisioned running PD from the beginning. Like the vision for PD was like very clear, and then we were all over the place. So me and Hutch had a big talk earlier. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That is how it's being taken by some people. And honestly, like some people just need to touch grass, to be frank. Like that's a lot of times that's what this stuff comes down to. And look, I'm one of those people that need to touch grass myself. I wouldn't touch my grass though. I will tell you that when I moved in here, I found a fire ant mound, and then I found another one, and then another one, and another. So I wouldn't touch my grass. I did get it sprayed, but I wouldn't touch my grass. But you should touch grass that's safer than that. But yeah, like it was a lot of fire ant mounds. I bought new, so like ants get stirred up and they go into the new builds of grass and stuff. So it's not that weird. But I got really paranoid because I'm Canadian. I didn't grow up near all that stuff, and I did step on that thing like 3 times because I didn't understand fire ants. I didn't know that was a thing. So I stepped on that mound a couple times because I saw it was a mound. So I just stepped on it like once. Then I came back after I told them that, and then I stepped on it again. And then I came back again, and then I noticed it was still there, and I stepped on it again. I just saw the ants like come out and stuff, and I was like, okay. I didn't get attacked though. So I don't know if that's what's supposed to happen, but I was fine. But yeah, I mean, I'm a newfie, guys. Like, you just, sometimes you just do. You just do. Well, my buddy that I work with, he was an ex he's an ex-Marine sniper. Like special forces, like the guy's hardcore. So what he did with fire ants was he firecrackered them. I don't think that's what I should do, but that I'm just saying. So yeah, for the PD stuff, like me and Hutch had a big like heart to heart and talk, and like we I'm too full of shit. I have a video of me putting my foot in the mound. I'll play it on stream. You guys can look at it. I didn't know they were fire ants. I didn't know it was a thing. Yeah, I put it in. Like I stepped on it and pushed. I don't think you're getting it. Like I put my foot on the mound and pushed down. Because that's what we do back home. When you see the ant, like a mound like that on the side, like you just push it down to see if it's active. All right, I'll post it. I'll post it on Twitter later. I mean, they're obviously a joke because I put my foot in that thing 3 different times on 3 different occasions. I ain't putting metal all in the holes in my fucking ground. Fuck that. Then when I go to dig up shit later, I'm just gonna be digging up fucking... I'm not doing that. Fuck that. pouring metal down. That's stupid. I'm not stupid and putting my bare feet down in the ant mound. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to get my dog is what I'm worried about with fire ants. Well, dude, that's the thing. You guys probably don't know this, but I got into war with sugar ants when I first moved to Texas, and I went into an apartment on the bottom floor, and it was a new construction, and I was battling sugar ants for like 3 weeks. They just come in like straight lines. I don't know if anyone's ever dealt with sugar ants. They're awful. Those things are awful. Yeah, I hired a pest company to come in and do it. I like peanut butter traps in my fucking garage just to be safe with snakes and all that. And I had to get like stuff for like the weep holes. But yeah, I dealt with it all. I'm also probably going to install a snake fence. But yeah, I'm like over preparing. I was talking to Bite earlier. He was laughing at me about how deep I'm going into this. It's pretty funny. The best things I will tell you that worked are those liquid traps for the sugar ants. The Texas heat, those work real well. They really like going for the liquid. I didn't try that because I wanted to kill the hive. I wanted to kill the queen. Really? What they do? They just, in circles? Like, what do they do when you disrupt the line? Anyway, on PD stuff, me and Hutch talked a bunch about it, and like, we just kind of leveled on a lot of different things. And he told me to talk about it. We just leveled everything out on a lot of different things, and like I just tried to explain like it's tough, man, when we try to like make changes and make decisions, and like there's just so much animosity all the time, and like the reality is just we just got to get on the same page and talk. Like genuinely, that's what needs to happen. And like right now, like I'm sorry, like the PD at the moment has gotten to a point where it's just like we had so many different visions that some people just wouldn't make it. Like honestly, based on the start we did, like they just wouldn't make it. We hired basically on skill or function instead of on RP. And that's usually where you get into the problem with a lot of PDs. And this is what happens, and I see this shit all the time, is that when you start to not hire on RP and you hire on like other factors, this type of shit happens. Because PD is drive, shoot, drive. That's all it is. People have done that for 10 years. Drive, shoot, drive, shoot, drive, shoot. That gets boring. That gets boring for anyone, especially if you're doing it 8 to 12 hours a day. That's going to get boring. And you're going to lose interest and you're going to leave. If that's all there is to hold your attention, you leave. Right? And that's just the reality. And that's kind of where we got. Like the amount, there's like just a lot of people that I probably wouldn't have let in PD that got in. Like we let in for whatever reason because we felt bad, because they showed up every day and they weren't strong enough role players. Like PD is one of those things where it's like you need to make sure that the people that you're putting in there, they're the first line to the server when they get on. They're the people you deal with in your worst times on the server, right? And they're also the people that you deal with the most, right? And they deal with the most shit as a result as well. So what you really need is you need strong role players who are going to stick with it. The problem is if you don't ever spend the time in PD to roleplay, you're never going to keep them. And that's where we're at, is like the strong RPers we did take, as a result, we're not keeping them because there's nothing to hook them in PD. we don't have any role play in PD. That's the problem right now. There is no role play to PD. PD is complete gamification at the moment. That's the thing me and Touch talked about. I was like, when I explained, I was like, listen, this shit's gonna get boring all the time with the way it is. Like, we need to do something that promotes roleplay. It's a roleplay server. And if you're just a mechanic and the police look at things mechanically, like, of course you're going to be utilized as a mechanic, because that's what happens. The crims have now defaulted to the fact of cops gamifying things to now treating them all as a mechanic. And that wasn't happening initially. And some of that happens with the age of a server as like a wipe goes on. And we're at that point where that stuff can happen. But we can't even begin to try to fix things on the criminal side if the cops aren't in order. So that's where we're at. I mean, to be honest, like, a lot of this is on the PD command and the NCOs and the people in positions to be able to do things like, and this isn't to shit on anyone, but the reality is like, the people of PD have to like start and do investigations. They have to find interest to do these things. You know, like, you just can't sit there and be like, okay, I'm sat. Let me wait for the commissioner to hand me all of my next investigation. You know, you can't say, oh, I'm sat. Let the commissioner's going to hand me my next raid. Oh, I'm sat. The commissioner's got to tie my shoes. No, you can't look at stuff that way. Like, that's not the way it is. You know, like, people need to put the effort to go out and roleplay. People need to put the effort to go out and create story. People need to put the effort into CID. People need to put the effort into doing the investigation, hunting people down. People need to put the effort into the roleplay. That's it. Like, we've been waiting for CID to get off the ground for 2 months. We've been waiting on Ear 1 certs to be fixed in a certain way for 2 or 3 months. We have been doing all of this stuff over and over again. Then people start playing the blame game. It's this guy's fault. Is this guy's fault? Is this guy's fault? Is that guy's fault? Is this guy's fault? And then all of a sudden it's Ravage's fault. Everything's wrong in the world. It's got to be Ravage. The reality is like, people have just been left to their own devices to do what they want to do. So that's kind of where I'm at. And then people are getting toxic and negative, and then they sit around, and then one person complains. And then when one person complains to someone who comes in the room, they hear the complaining, and then that rubs off on them. And then they start complaining about the thing they're upset about. And then all of a sudden, after you get like 6 people in a room, 6 different people are complaining about a different thing, and then they're all there agreeing with each other. That thing, oh yeah, that thing fucking sucks. And then this is exactly what happens. And honestly, like, I'm going to be real. Like, some of the people that complain about this stuff, like, you can't win. Like, you're mentioning toxic chatters. The reality is like, when we started this, the goal was to make sure people had thick skin. The reason we made people run laps, the reason why we salt mined cadets, is because how can we expect our cops to be of quality and be able to handle Hutch or me or someone making an offhanded comment on stream just about like, man, that guy didn't do this, or man, that guy didn't do this, or you know, just a bigger streamer in general, like talking about the interaction they didn't like with the cop. How are they meant, if we let someone in and they can't handle being salt mined on a minimum level of a simulation of like a cadet phase or like a cadet boot camp, how can we expect them to deal with the fact when someone complains about them on stream in front of viewers and then toxic chatters hop? Because that stuff is just inevitable. And that's the other problem we have with the hiring process, is we just started letting people in, and then all of a sudden we had a problem with people getting yelled at in character. Like, come on. Yelled at in why are we mad? Like, it's a roleplay server. You're getting roleplay yelled at. Roleplay yelled at, guys. Roleplay. It's fucking RP. You got yelled at in character. Like, that's where we're at. is that we can't hope to have a good PD that can put up with what's offered on the server if we don't screen people appropriately. It's not about the training after the fact. That will come from good people who want to put the RP in. They will figure it out. That's why Prodigy 1.0 was so good. We had a lot of people who were there for the RP. They're good, strong role players in our PD. And that's what we have to do. And the problem is that we saturated our PD with too many people who didn't want to put the RP effort in. And then the RPers get bored because there's no RP. And that's a big part of it. So the big thing that we have to work on is like, we're going to look at a restructure, or like, we're going to go through everyone and keep everyone who's great, right? All the very strong role players and everyone who is questionable, we're going to probably let go. And then we're going to redo the entire structure of PD, and we're going to reset the expectation of like what the goal is for PD. And then me and Hutch, we're going to just talk daily. Every day. Every day we're going to talk. Every day we're going to talk about it. That's the goal. You know? We're going to text each other. We're going to figure shit out. AC, listen, you'd have to listen to the entire thing I just said, because if that's the conclusion you come to, that the PD are the ones that are getting bad roleplay from opposing side, you just don't get it. I mean, logic is tough when you don't listen to the full thing. So that's where we're at. I'm going to go to the public server. I'm going to look at what's there, see if there's some good eggs to come out there. I'm probably going to go do that tomorrow. And like that's kind of where we're at. Anyway, I just spent a whole bunch of time just laying out the reasons why. So, I mean, higher command is getting burnt. Anyone gets burnt out over fucking toxicity. Like if you just put yourself into toxicity all day fucking long, you're going to get burnt out. Like, I'm sorry guys, this is the way it is. Listen, Black Lotus, the reality is your take is stupid. You don't have context of what goes on behind the scenes, and I know exactly who you're referencing. If you don't know the context of something, you shouldn't comment on it. So honestly, and with all due respect, and I'll say this in the nicest way possible, like, you can sit there and you can armchair and backseat decisions that get made all you want, but you don't have the context. You don't know what those people did. And because, in my opinion, right, these people who did bad things, let me point that out for you. People who did bad things, it would be more harmful to them if I aired the bad things they did than it is to just say no. Does that become more apparent for people? Like, if I say no, it's for a goddamn reason. I've been at this a long time. I don't have to just box people out for no reason. Period. If I do it, it's for a fucking reason. Chatters need to stop getting on my ass about whether or not someone can come into the PD or not. If I made the call, it's for a reason. That's it. I'm done with this shit. Like, people need to respect the fact that there are boundaries. And I'm not other people. Like, I don't need to do this. I don't need to stream. I do this for the passion of the community. And I think people need to start to understand that I'm not your average owner of a server, or I've been at this 10 fucking years. And I gotta be real with you guys, is that I'm really on my give a shit meter in terms of like people's opinions on stuff is like at an all-time low. Like, I'm usually very receptive to things, but like, the reality is, as I've been at this a long time, I don't need this. And the thing people need to start to realize is I don't have an agenda. My agenda is the community, is making this the best it can be. That's my agenda. So people need to start to realize that. The metal in my... What the fuck are you talking about, Candy? In what world? What's it? Yeah, I've tried to say this as much as I can, that, like... But people just don't get it. So, either way, like, if someone's not allowed in PD, it's for a reason. If you don't like it, tough shit. I don't care. High Command's been delegated a lot of stuff, but the reality is if we set on interceptor certs, ear one certs, all these different certs, and they're approved, and then High Command goes around saying, it's not approved. Oh, I don't know what to do with this. Oh, I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what to do with that. The problem isn't delegation anymore. It's about stakeholdership and driving it. And that's the thing that I have to reinforce the command as we rebuild. Is like, when you're given something, take it and fucking do it. You can't use me as an excuse, Hutch as an excuse, Medi as an excuse. Like, people need to do shit. Like, if you're going to have a high command position, you should just do it. I'm surprised Ravage hasn't started smoking with all the bullshit he goes through. I don't think people quite realize the amount of abuse I take on a fucking weekly basis. I'm the punching bag for the entirety of Prodigy. I don't think people fully understand that. The fact that I can sit down and have anywhere a sane conversation without saying, fuck you, fuck this, you know, and cursing at people and calling them names. It's a testament to my patience. So, am I always right? No, I'll be the first to admit that. When it comes to that stuff, I'm humble and I own my shit when I'm wrong. I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. But I will tell you, I take a lot of shit for the server. From all angles. Oh, I get hate everywhere, from Twitch chats, YouTube, Reddit, like you name it. I get it in my DMs and Twitter. My daily Discord, I have declarative spam messages and message requests of people shitting on me. So, well, there comes a point, Mark, where command thinking they can't make decisions, like, where I start to lose my patience on that stuff is I'm giving a list of 10 or 15 things. And I go through the list of 10 or 15 things. None of them have sent a text message. Here, let's go and do it. Some game. Let's do an experiment with you guys. So you can see this, because this'll really showcase the bullshit of why it's so bad, right? Let's play a game. Can you guys see my screen okay? Yeah, you can, okay. I changed the resolution on all my monitors, why I asked. Alright, guys. Do we think that it's legitimate? Let's have a look. This is a fun activity. Oh, and I have to change this shit. You guys ready? Oh, it still didn't change. Fuck. Give me a second, guys.